Hello, fellow mysticists. Today's card will be the Hierophant, also known as the High Priest, although not necessarily the counterpart of the High Priestess. So let's see why I'm still wearing gloves because the heating is still off. I'm, I'm dying here. But okay, so the original card, let's see this as the original card showed the Pope, head of the church, the one who is a true bridge between heaven and earth. On the other hand, the papal state was not just a religious organization, it was the head and connection of international politics, had its own army, and even could order other kingdoms' armies if needed. The Hierophant as a name came from the Golden Dawn when they've been creating their own tarot decks, and it was to try to de-Christianize the deck, but the meaning remained similar. So this card shows tradition and higher education, teamwork with others even, obtaining and using connections within the community. So it means that don't get creative, just do things the original way, the traditional way, and success will be yours. And oftentimes, the reversed meaning is often about bureaucracy, a stale conventional relationship with not necessarily romantic, but it's a stale relationship with someone else and feeling restricted by the rules. We can see sometimes this card as the counterpart of the High Priestess, and in a way, we can make sense of this. This card is more spiritual than earthly. There's connection to higher powers, although my problem with this that they are not on the same level. If you can remember the high priestess, if we see her as Isis or literally just her own person, she's literally a goddess, someone beyond this world. The high priest is the head of a spiritual organization with political power in this dimension. The male is seen and the female is remaining unseen. So I rather see this card as the magician institutionalized. So it's like taking this alchemist, and if I want to bring in some fictional words, this magician is like a John Constantine type. And the Hierophant is like putting this magician into Hogwarts, or I don't know if you can remember in the fifth book in Harry Potter when the Ministry of Magic had a significant role, and we as children and teenagers were very upset about it because this is like literally putting a magician, if we remain with Constantine, you put it into an institution and he would die or more likely burn this all down. So I rather see this card as this tamed magician who will rise through the ranks alongside the rules and tradition and is more political or active in using his powers than passive where he wants to understand them. So now let's see how other decks depict this card. And sorry for you can sometimes hear a dog. I'm dog sitting again. So let's see how the cards or other decks show this card. Okay, so maybe I will just show you the Rider-Waite deck because really the Visconti-Sforza is not that interesting in this relation. You can see literally the Pope and nothing else. And the Rider-Waite deck is also showing literally head of the church. You can see the priests at his feet and you can see the papal crown. You can see, I don't know by the scepter, but I guess it's some sort of resemblance to the Catholic Pope's scepter, I don't know, but you can see that the hand gesture is similar to the magician's, but he is not pointing down. So I think the best part of this card is that even though it's the Christianized version of this, is you can see, I don't know, this fight against the church maybe, because he has connection to the spiritual, but he is not bringing it down to earth. He's either using it to rule or he's guarding it. So it's not giving it to these priests, not directly. Okay, let's see the Egyptian deck, which is very similar, and we know now that the original tarot has nothing to do with Egyptian mythology, so you can see that these, I don't know, these pictures or cards are literally just the same symbolism, or often the same symbolism as the Rider-Waite deck. But you can see that the supposed energies of Mars and Aries to this, which is not necessarily spiritual, or you wouldn't see it as spiritual at first glance, but you can see the priest down here. He is not giving them anything they are serving, and he is guarding the pillars, or the pillars of the temple from the high priestess card are back in here, so we can see the connection, but he is using it completely differently than the high priestess. Okay, see the Hash Tarot. Oh, sorry. Okay, so with the Hash Tarot, I think these are not sparrows. Sorry, I have the word for it in my language. If I want to translate it directly, it would be evening swallow, but I know the English has a different name for it. Nighthawk? Midnight, I think these birds are called nighthawks. And in this case, yes, I think this is about remaining within the boundaries. So these, let's call them nighthawks. So these birds are having a chat. Maybe it's like academics debating, but they have restrictions. So they are bound to the natural world. They are bound to the rules of nature, and you can see that there is life here, and there's also death and decay. So they can debate as much as they want, but they are bound to the natural world and its rules. And in this case, this is literally the institution aspect of this card, and also that you have to do it as the others have done it before you. Okay, let's see. Tarot of the Divine, which I think this is a Lakota myth. This is White Buffalo Woman, and you can see this card that in a way that this is about the community. So of course there's this spiritual knowledge behind this card. She is the one who knows the rituals of the group. She knows the rites and the traditions, but also, well, in an ideal way, a Catholic priest or a Christian priest is also a community leader, but this is more emphasized here because she doesn't just know the rituals and the traditions, she also knows and guides others to their place within the group. So she is also a community leader. So yes, it's about, I don't know, keeping traditions and giving them to the group so others can move on the ways that the ancestors moved along with. I don't know, does it make sense? I mean, grammatically. So it's about keeping and giving over the traditional way to the next generation. So in this case, this is a community leader with spiritual knowledge. Okay, let's see the Prisma Tarot. This is very interesting because there are many things going on. So you can see the bull. This is not a ram like in the Egyptian deck. So this is a bull with spiritual knowledge who is holding one of his hands upside, so connecting to the spiritual, but he is guarding the spiritual in these scrolls. And it seems like knowledge is pouring out of it, but not necessarily. Maybe these are the energies behind him, but this is also about guarding. You can see the key here. So he's holding the key, holding the knowledge, but he's guarding it. This Hierophant is a gatekeeper in this way. And similarly, almost all the Hierophant cards are gatekeepers of knowledge. So if you remember, there was the High Priestess. You have to reach to her. She was waiting, she was passive, she wasn't seeking anyone out, she was guarding the secrets and giving it to those who would be able to reach her. But this Hierophant is literally channeling knowledge from the spiritual realm, and then he's not giving it away. So he's guarding it. He's guarding it on earth, and maybe the High Priestess is guarding it beyond this world. But while the magician is using this power to create something, he is just collecting it for a library. Maybe. Okay, Modern Witch Tarot. Well, the symbolism remains the same. It's a very Puritan looking temple. If you see, there's really nothing, only a barren mountain behind her, just like with the emperor. But the columns of the temple are here, just like with the high priestess. The symbolism of the empress, I think, with the roses, maybe the high priestess as well, but she's keeping the keys down here. So maybe she's the one who gives permission to reach way to her followers or her priests. Maybe they are priests because this one is also wearing a rose pattern shirt, and this one has all the abundance of nature. So maybe this might be an empress or a high priestess, and this is the empress or the other way around. I don't know, but she is the keeper of the keys. And she is not giving it to anyone, or not anyone she meets. So she's guarding the secret. Okay, let's see the Lunalapin card, which I adore it because you can see it behind it. The next one will be the Mugi deck, and while the Mugi deck is very chill and very, very nonchalant and whimsical, and it's oftentimes just very happy. These bunnies are professionals. They are taking things seriously. So you can see this Hierophant, he's also guarding the keys, and these bunnies are looking directly at the keys while he's looking over to everyone, looking directly to you, the reader. The symbolism remains the same. So you can see the throne, you can see the pillars, you can see the scepter and the crown and the keys. So it's really similar to other decks, but I just love this very serious look on a bunny's face. Yes, so this is about tradition and taking seriously your boundaries and the rules, so you won't step over them. Okay, and let's see, Mugi. The symbolism is the same. There's no difference here, but I think might be different that, let me see the other decks. Yes, it seems like these priests are looking more at the keys than her, and these little priests as the roses and lilies. Yeah, they are back. The roses and lilies are back from the previous cards. So yes, so they are looking directly to their leader. And he's very happy that he can preach and that he can show the way. So even though he's guarding knowledge, I don't feel like he is very defensive about it. So he is just like to preach, like in a way that in this deck, if you are, I don't know, want to make some, I want to point out some differences between the High Priestess and the Hierophant. The High Priestess is waiting for you to share her knowledge. The Hierophant is literally just going to preach in his church. So they are both sharing the knowledge. Let's see this animal deck, which is a ram. And you can see that this is the sign, the alchemical sign of fire. And the pillars are here, although in a very different way, but you can see that this Hierophant is defensive. This is a dangerous animal. Yeah, so he's not ready to share anything. He is protecting his turf and he's protecting this land he's standing on. So this is in one way about staying within your boundaries between these pillars, and also that you have to protect it. So you have to be protective about your knowledge, your traditions, and you cannot go around because this ram is guarding the way. Or you have to go around. Okay, let's see the oak, ash, and thorn there. This owl is holding a key. This is the main symbol of the picture, so he's guarding it as well. He has connections to the spiritual because as a nocturnal animal, he is, I don't know, connected in folklore and means to the spiritual. But he's holding the key and he's in a very ruined house with a lock. So he's holding the key to the lock and you have to go through him to obtain it. He's guarding it, he won't release it, so you can pick it up and go over this door or fence, or it looks like a door. But if you want to get into this house or ruin, you have to obtain the key so you can open the lock. Also, he has a compass as well, so he's showing the way. Maybe the compass is pointing at him? I'm not sure. Maybe not. But he's showing the way. And let's see, before our mark, the Anima Mundi Tarot, which is very regal. If you remember, the Emperor was a stag as well. Not in this deck, but in the previous one. So these stags often appear as masculine energies. And you can see that he is guarding the keys. He's not holding onto them. They seem to be levitating around him. And there are several legends and myths, mostly in groups and tribes that were moving a lot around back in the day. that has this tag in their folklore. So one of these is the Hungarian origin of the nation. So it is said that two hunters, two princes, if you like, so the two sons of their leader was hunting a stag. It was a white stag in particular, but it has the meaning that it was a very spiritual stag, and it led them to their current home. So while they were chasing this stag, it was showing them the way where to settle. So it has a very similar meaning. So this one is a spiritual animal. It has the keys, but it can guard it. So it is very much able to defend it if it's needed, but he's not holding on to them. It's literally just offering it. You can take it if you are able to. Okay, and this would be the mark where we are going on with the adult decks or the more darker decks. So if you are a minor, thank you for being here and see you at the next video. And if you are not, let's continue with our remaining decks. Okay, so first, let's see, Tarot of Sexual Magic, and well, maybe I will be doing this with the Decameron deck because they are very similar in meaning. So we can see two leaders of the church. Well, only their clothes are different, but you can see immediately that they are leaders within their group. And the first one here has two lovers. One is at his knees and one is kissing his ring, his signet ring. And there are two swans maybe up here. So it's not a negative card. It resembles more the lover's card, which will be our next, but he's not choosing. He might be a priest of sexuality and he's using his knowledge to live for it. Yeah, maybe live for it. I don't see that he's giving anything to them, or the women. I'm a bit concerned about it. Looks like either these are bruises, maybe. I don't know. It's more immediate. If you see it with the naked eye, maybe you won't see it in the camera, but maybe not. Maybe I'm just imagining things into this. But if we see him as a knower of sexuality as a spiritual power or either a manifesting power, maybe he is using it. So he's using it the traditional way. And this deck, it's more traditional. He has the keys here in the walls, so but these are not real keys. And I think this is a huge difference because he doesn't hold on to any keys. These keys to knowledge are more I don't know, symbolical than literal keys. And it seems like he's abusing the power because, well, with this one you can see the Catholic Church, but you can see it completely differently. So not necessarily you just see a priest of love maybe, or I don't know, but you can interpret it differently. But this one, this is very much a Catholic person with a nun. And in this case, this is more about the abuse of power or abusing power for blackmail. Maybe it's like she would like to know the same things he knows. He would like to receive the key, but he's guarding him. It's like he's blackmailing her or forcing her to do things for her. And I can see that the way he's holding her head is like forcing her to stay in her place. First, because the keys are not real, and second, to uphold the institution. So nuns cannot be leaders. Nuns can serve either the priests or other people, orphans. Oftentimes they are in hospitals, schools, everywhere, but they are serving the flock, and they are serving the priests, and the priests are holding the keys. They are withholding the keys. Yeah, it's like keeping her in her place. I don't think this should be a positive card. Well, of course, if it comes in a love reading based on the original meaning, I would say that yes, this relationship might not be the best one, but it's traditional, it's accepted by the group. But this picture tells literally everything otherwise. So this is a forbidden and secret relationship in one hand. In the other hand, I don't know. So of course, you know that by the rules, this relationship cannot and shouldn't happen because it is forbidden. On the other hand, everybody knows that the church has secrets like this. So there's a reason that people are saying that celibacy is outdated, that they should have relationships. So they shouldn't hide these things. But in this picture, you can literally see an abusive, toxic person forcing a woman to stay in her place. And let's see. Ugh, it's hard in gloves. So let's see the Vampire Tarot, where this Hierophant is very smug. I don't know if you can see his face clearly. He's smug. The background resembles a theater, where we know about the theater of vampires from from several fictional books, but well, it's not a temple, so I don't know, I'm trying to find the keys, but I don't see it. It's like he's sitting on a tomb in a theater, or I don't know. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. But others are reaching for him. Others are reaching for him, trying to obtain the things he knows. And it's very interesting because he's holding the scepter down, so he might channel some knowledge from the other world, but this hand is pointing down, so it's like he has knowledge about being in the tomb, being a vampire. So you don't have to take this literally because it's not, but the symbolism is here. So the stories behind these pictures are connected to this I don't know, lore. So it's like he has knowledge about being a vampire, he is channeling it and is channeling back. So he has nothing other. There are no secrets, there are no, I don't know, otherworldly knowledge about this. This is literally what it is. You are a vampire, you remain a vampire. You can come out and obtain every knowledge you can have, but there are no secrets. It is what it is. And in this case, since this deck is also about shadow readings, this is about accepting your boundaries, accepting that you have limits. I think I would interpret it like this. Yeah, so it's accepting the institution, accepting the traditions, that in this case you have to stay within your limits. And sometimes boundaries are good. Oftentimes boundaries are good, but you just have to accept that you are not limitless, you are not completely free. So just find your place within this system. Okay, that was our reading today. See you at the next time. And thank you for being here. If you would like notification about our next video, just click on subscribe and like the video if you really liked it. And see you next time with the lovers. Bye.